Sadhanapada, for example, is a completely free program. And even there, some people say, still I have to do in engineering, which I have to
Exactly.
pay for. So if you're already calculating how much am I giving and how much am I getting back, you will never reap the full benefits of it.
In the ashram, there is obviously a different life. People used to miss the whole point while we were in Sadhanapada, and so that's why those people couldn't stick around for the whole period of the program. So in the interview, they make sure if you are someone who won't be able to give the commitment. So the commitment is something they checked in the interview. My dad was like, no, you're not going there because it's too far of a place and I don't know what it is. You can't go into some ashram like that. Whatever history of India has been. So not much of a good history regarding ashrams or babas or something like that.
Sometimes I have people who say, I didn't get accepted, I tried, and then they ask me why.
I met many people who were around me, like they used to say that, this is the third time that I had applied and I got selected. For the last 2 times I was not getting selected, or this is my 4th time, this is my 5th time. There were so many people who were literally trying it every year and they used to not get it, and this time they got it.
You are a great example that you don't have to have volunteer experience before going to Sadhanapada. You didn't even had the inner engineering program done, and still they gave you the chance. So I think those people who are scared to apply, or those people who are worried about the interview process and everything, I think you are a great example to show that you don't have to be scared.
Yeah, so for me, I came across this video online of Sadhguru. Like I told you last time, that was one video of one debate that was going on with Sadhguru and some students. So in that was the first time I saw Sadhguru, and otherwise he used to come in my timeline, I mean in that Instagram or some YouTube videos, but I used to be very skeptic, I would say. I was like, oh, it must be some Baba giving some lecture like usual Babas, I thought, after seeing him for the first time. So I ignored it most of the time. But I don't know why. Suddenly one night I was just scrolling on YouTube and I just happened to click on that video. I don't know why. And so in that video he was debating with some students, and that video was really fun. And I enjoyed watching that video, and that was the time I was like, oh my god, this man is like real, those wisdom words and all of that. I mean, like, how savage he was. And he was like, so that was the time I started enjoying watching his video, and from that moment I just started watching his videos on loop, I would say, and then I went into that loop. That was my journey. So after that I got to know a little bit about him, like he's a yogi and then he does kind of stuffs and all of that. But because I used to watch those videos, I got the inner engineering advertisement in my Instagram at that point. And that time I think it was COVID times. Yeah, like the wave had just hit at that point. And then I saw that advertisement after lockdown was, I would say, there was lockdown, and I saw that advertisement, and in that they were providing the course for free under people who are aged 25, under 25 age. So they were providing that course, and I was like, okay, let's do it. Anyway, it's free, I'll just try. So just because it was free at that point, because I don't know, now I would say that we don't really go for things which is paid if it is for our mental health or some well-being, but we do spend money a lot of, or waste money on other things. Now
I want to jump on that topic. I think
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are saying that spirituality should be free, and I understand the thought, because if you're offering something from your heart, then you're not thinking about charging people. I understand that thought. At the same time, if I look at what has inner engineering or any other programs that are offered by Sadhguru, what they have brought into my life, there's no money in the world that can pay this. So I would say anybody who is listening, Sadhanapada, for example, is a completely free program. And even there, some people say, still I have to do in engineering, which I have to pay for. But if you look at it like that, if you're always calculating what am I paying and what am I getting back?
What am I getting?
Then
Yeah,
of
that is
course,
the thing. Yeah.
yeah, it will only work as far as you are willing to give yourself to it, right? So if you're already calculating how much am I giving and how much am I getting back, you will never reap the full benefits of it.
Exactly. So at that point of time, I was not very aware. Like now I realize it when I am convincing people. I would say my cousins or maybe my friends. I tell them that you should try inner engineering. Like usually we say after we see those unconscious people, we try to tell them that you need inner engineering. So such people, I tell them you need to do inner engineering. And when I tell them the fees, like it's online, it's like 3,000 or 3,500, something around 4,000. So that money also, they are like, oh my god, so much of money we have to spend on one course or something. So this is the reaction. But otherwise, I know them, they spend more than 5,000 in just one dinner or one lunch, or they'll just go partying, and they will just waste it. So there I can give multiple examples of such events. But anyway, so the point was, for me, it was basically it was a pre-course. So I was like, okay, I like Sadhguru, or whatever he talks and everything was matching up with my whatever I used to think. The most important thing with Sadhguru or listening to Sadhguru was that I always from my childhood had those thoughts already in my mind, or these questions used to rise in my mind, all the curiosity about the universe, everything about the societal norms, everything about the society, everything used to be there, but I was not able to articulate it in my own way. I used to not, it used to be in my head and I used to think over it, but I was not able to tell it, share that with the people around me or articulate it in any way. But when I listened to Sadhguru, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I feel. This is exactly what, I want to tell. And this is the one who is telling me. And I'm like, oh my God, it's already like, and every video that I used to continuously watch about Sadhguru and whatever he used to talk, it used to make so much sense to me. Now, when I tell this to other people, like after Sadhanapada, even my people in my town or anyone who knows me, they are like, oh, she does that Sadhguru thing and all, because they don't know anything. Like they feel that, oh, she is got into some cult or some, something that something new she has started or some trend. So they look at it in that way, I feel. But it's not like that. That is something I have experienced, and I really find it so difficult to tell people even now like what it is. And at times I just give up. You just can't tell people unless and until they experience it for themselves. So yeah, so exactly. I'm trying for now. It's like I'm trying somehow. I'm trying my best to make them experience it. Not by me just telling them, but maybe by looking at me or whatever I'm doing, maybe if they can get inspired or something like that. That is what Sadhguru also told us, that you should be not telling people to do inner engineering. Instead, they should be looking at us as an example, and they should be wanting to do or become like us or something. So yeah, so for me, I got into that, enrolled for that class. And I said it was a 7-session program. Yeah, and then in that 7 session, I thought that I'll do it and I'll be done with inner engineering. And this is something. This will start with my spiritual journey or something like that. Before that, I knew nothing. Not even one ritual, and it's not very much of a thing that also in my family. They're not much of those praying kind of people or worshipping kind of people, not at all. Like they'll just do the ritual, the daily ritual puja, and that's it. So it's like they are like, I never had that thing of praying or doing anything spiritual or religious, I would say. But now I know the difference between what is spirituality and what is religion and everything. But so I started that, and I did that 7 days lectures, 7 days of sessions that time. And I loved it. I was like, at the end of the session, there used to be that meditation, it's Shakti meditation. And it was the first time I ever did meditations. And I was like, wow, this is something I want to do. And after the 7th day, I was like, after so much, the inner engineering course, it's something else. Like now I realize, even after Sadhanapada, that everything in Isha or everything about Sadhguru, it's already packed in inner engineering. Like once if you are, you do inner engineering and then you know your fundamentals, you know your main core values or whatever they teach in the course. That is the only thing you need, not any exercises, not any kriyas. The kriyas and exercises are something additional we do so that it makes our progress go faster, I would say. But even if you don't do that, and if you follow those things, those, what do we say, crash course, yeah, exactly. So I remember once, when someone had asked Sadhguru that this Shambhavi is not working for me. Someone had asked Guru saying, this is not working for me. I don't know, maybe I'm different from others or something like that, and I need a customized Shambhavi or something. Some question one lady had asked, and what he had told that, what, if it is not working for you, it is anyway customized for every person, like the energy like it's anyway there. But if it is not working for you, that means you need to work on your core and the fundamentals of what you believe. Like for example, whatever the crash course, he just told that you need to do the crash course again and again. You are missing that point. So after that, I also got to know, that is the main thing. So inner engineering is something life changing, I would say. So after inner engineering, for about 1 year, I did not knew that there is something called Shambhavi. Like I had no idea. Okay, online I used to just see videos and everything, but I did inner engineering because the way it was advertised, I would say, I don't know, it was not much advertised in a way that, there is something called Shambhavi or Riya or something like that. Or maybe I was not much aware of it, something like that. So I just came across that inner engineering course and I did that 7 sessions. I used to think for a year that I am done with inner engineering and that's all. Like now I'm inner engineered or something. And I used to tell everyone that I did the Sadhguru course and everything. And for a year or something, I used to just watch his video. I used to see all his videos related to ashram, and I used to think I'll go here. I used to see the Dhanalinga and I used to see one day I'll go here. I was just manifesting it somehow, I don't know. So after some time, when I saw the ad for Sadhanapada, so I was like, oh, this is like amazing. Like if you go there and spend this much amount of time, maybe this will enhance me as a person, or maybe something I'll learn. And as for me, who has not stepped out of my home forever, like before I did my master's, only that time I went somewhere to study, like in Goa, but otherwise I used to always be in my hometown, and I have not, gone out without my family or my parents. This was the first time in Sadhanapada that I stayed away from my parents. So for me, I was like, okay, I'll somehow break my comfort zone, and for that, I thought that Sadhanapada would be the best to break my comfort zone. And I was like planning, okay, I need to do this. I read everything that needs to be done for Sadhanapada. I did my research, how I would get into Sadhanapada and everything. So I used to watch these videos about Sadhanapada. People have made so many YouTube videos saying, these are the things you need to do if you want to get in Sadhanapada or something like that. So I had seen many videos, and in that one video was there. I don't remember whose video, but I remember seeing this video that man was saying that, I've been trying for Sadhanapada in the last 3-4 years, but I'm not getting selected, and this is the reason they're giving, there is this, that, and they ask so many questions, this is there, that is there. And I really got scared, and I'm like, oh, I don't know how will I manage to get into this, because there is this selection, there is this interview. I don't know how would I get selected, but I badly want this. And I just applied. I applied because after my master's, I was like, if I take a job, I won't be able to, give myself for 9 months or 7 months of Sadhanapada. So before I get into any job, I wanted to do my Sadhanapada and just, get done with Sadhanapada and then start with my whatever career I wanted to do, or anything, job or something like that. So I did that, and I enrolled for Sadhanapada. So the Sadhanapada team called me saying, you haven't done your inner engineering completion. You still have to do your completion, and that is this Shambhavi Mahamudra. Okay, and then I was like, oh, okay. So that was the time I got to know that there is, the main part is still there to be done, and I was just... So after that, they guided me throughout the Sadhanapada, journey for enrollment or selection process. They guide you like anything, like they guide you in every little step. So they guided me that I should do the inner engineering completion first, and I think it was the second batch that was taken, like for online Shambhavi, because after COVID they started online Shambhavi. So in that, before they used to just provide it offline. So I was like, I don't know how will I go there in Tamil Nadu and do it offline. Seemed a little bit difficult for me to go from here, and without, I mean, my parents didn't knew what I was doing in my laptop. I was doing this inner engineering and all of that. I never told them before that. So if I tell them, no, I want to do this, they would be like, what is this and all of that. So I was like, okay, if they are providing it online, it's good. It's really good. So because I wanted to go for Sadhanapada, I did my inner engineering completion. So in that, I would say it was a 3-day initiation, like and the third day of the initiation, I would say that was the day everything in my life changed. Like, I would say that was a turning point. That day was a turning point. Even after Sadhanapada, there are many days in Sadhanapada as well who turned out to be, life-changing for me, really life-changing for me. I realized so many things. But the day of initiation into Shambhavi, it's unmatched. Like, I don't know what it was, because that was the day I was someone else, I would say. As a person, I was someone else, because I got to see something that I never knew. So, and that too, it was online. So I was like, I was again skeptic about, like, how is it even happening? Because I'm just doing it online, right? Like, I'm just looking at it and in the video format. But yeah, so the Shambhavi initiation, for people who might not understand what I'm talking about, so it was this initiation into Shambhavi Mahamudra Kriya, and Sadhguru makes us do that. I mean, initiates us into a Kriya. So in that, something happened. I started crying. I don't know why. I till now don't know the reason why we cry when we even see Sadhguru, and it's like, it's something else. It's something experiential. So I started crying in that initiation, and that was the first time in my life I cried for no reason. Like, absolute no reason. No good, no bad, nothing. I'm just crying, and something is, I don't know, something was going on. And after that, I couldn't eat. I couldn't eat my lunch. I couldn't do anything. I was just still. And my mom was telling me to eat after the initiation, and I was like, no, I don't want to eat. And that entire day, I just ate one banana because I had to, like, she forced me to, because otherwise the whole day I was just like still. I don't know what was this, why am I crying, what is happening, what was that Shambhavi initiation, I don't know. And after that, the next day, I started with my mandala. I started the Shambhavi Mahamudra regularly. And I think this must be the story of every other person who did Shambhavi initiation, because somehow that is the moment everyone gets touched, by the whole process of it.
I don't, for me it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
but
that
I think
even if the initiation
there
process,
is no good or bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Even
so
it didn't happen, but later it happened. So
yeah,
it is more about also being
and I would
patient,
also
not expecting something
exactly.
to happen,
Exactly.
but just give yourself to the process, and without any expectations,
Absolutely.
just throw yourself into it and see if it works.
Yeah, and I would also add, like, because you said, I remember that, yeah, if I knew that, I have to expect something out of it, it would not happen with me. I just completely know this, because at that point when I did that initiation and everything, I was clueless. I was absolutely clueless. I was just doing whatever he was telling. I mean, whatever I was supposed to do with my breathing and everything, I was doing that. And I was absolutely clueless that something is going to happen and something like that, nothing. But the people, my mom, I made her do inner engineering, and she loved it, and she also did initiation of Shambhavi and everything. So before, she knew, like, somewhere she knew, like, something is going to happen in this initiation, like, because I had told. So it did not happen to her, because, I mean, it happened, but experientially she couldn't catch it, or experientially she did not know the difference, whatever happened for her. So for her, because even after the initiation, that one day, after that day, I used to practice regularly Shambhavi, or I did so many other programs or something. So I knew that, something is going to happen. So that time used to never happen. Because if you are into that expectation that, something is going to happen, so your mind is into that and not into the process. So while we are into the process, we are just giving ourselves totally, something really happens, I don't know what it is. And at times it does not happen. So you just can't... I have any expectation, that's all. But so for me, because of that experience, that was major for me. That is the reason I could stuck. I could get stuck into one process. Like I followed it throughout so many years, because for me that one incident was so important. Otherwise, maybe, I have my mom, my family always says that, you just catch on some hobbies that you want for 4 or 5 days, and after that, or for a few months, you will do it, and then you will just never go back to that, whatever hobby you have. So, for example, dancing or music, I'll just do it, I'll just play that instrument for 2 weeks, and after that, I am done. So they thought that, even this, whatever Shambhavi I'm doing, or whatever Isha practices I'm doing, these are also like that. I'll just do it for a few months and I'll drop it. This is what they thought always. And for me, because that experience was so huge and, life changing for me, and I could really realize few things. It was the realization, I would say, not just the experience, but the realization as well. So for me, after that realization that what we are as humans, and not just the society or the societal things that we perform, so after that realization, I couldn't go back. So I continued, and after that, I got initiated into June or July, something like that, in 2021. And then in 2-3 months, in November, I had my interview for Sadhanapada. So they called me, and I was preparing for that interview like anything. Like, I had got this email, and I was like, oh, this email, and this is very important. And I was like, the whole time I used to write points and everything, what I will talk, what I will not talk, and this is that and that, everything. I did my hell lot of research for this, like watching other people's video, what is there in Isha, this, that, everything. I prepared myself for the interview. And so the interview date came, and there was some akka that took my interview. I don't remember her name, but she was very sweet. And she asked me a few of the questions, like why I want to join in Sadhanapada and how did I do everything. So she was asking me all that, and I was just answering like whatever I just now told you. She was really sweet, and I remember like the way I am telling you about everything, how I got to know about Sadhguru, and then how I got to know about Sadhanapada. I had to tell them. And then I told about why I want to come here, and I told the same thing, that I wanted to come out of my comfort zone, and this is something, this step of spirituality would be really something, it will mean a lot for me, and it is something I'm doing to push myself. And they also asked about the experience of Shambhavi and the initiation process, and they also asked about the details about how, what you're doing in your life, and if you have some responsibilities. And basically, I would say that what I observed in the interview is that they ask you if you can, make it up until the, 9 months or 7 months of Sadhanapada. They just want you to be there throughout the time with the whole, the commitment. They want that commitment from you, that you will stick by the process. And because the whole lot of process, the whole lot of efforts are being put from the Sadhanapada team. So for me, even the whole Sadhanapada, I would say, happened because of the Sadhanapada team. Whatever they were just outstanding about every little detail. I don't know, in any people used to complain. I mean, there were people around me who used to complain about Sadhanapada team, but I used to be like, guys, you're not looking at the positives. I mean, whatever the everything. I just feel that I'm just very grateful to every little detail. The details of presenting a program, or presenting or taking any small session, it used to be so precise and so detail oriented, and everything. I don't know how much it is, the efforts that the Sadhanapada team takes to make this program happen, throughout, from the interview or the process, application process, from that to the culmination day. And even then, after that, they are still working. But yeah, for me, the details are the most important. So for me, the process, they also, want to know if you want to continue. I mean, you will be able to give that commitment. So they ask you about if you have any other jobs that you will have to go if suddenly someone calls you, or if you have that responsibility at home that maybe you might have to come in between. or leave the program or something like that. So they look at all the possibilities before taking you as a a Sadhanapada participant. So I feel, yeah, which is very important, because they put so much of efforts to make this program happen, and people are there who just leave it like that. After 2-3 months they just go, okay, I'm done. Because there were many people around me that I saw, they were just like, okay, I'm not able to do the things that I used to do, whatever. I mean, I'm feeling very constrained, or the freedom that I used to have, I'm not getting it, that's why I'm going. But that's the whole point, right? Because why have we come here? Because to break our comfort zone, and not to be, I mean, I remember Ma saying this to all the people in Sadhanapada in one meeting, that if you are still doing whatever you were doing outside, and the kind of life you were having outside, if you're still doing it, then what's the point coming to the ashram? In the ashram, there is obviously a different life that is going somewhere. I mean, everything has its own meaning and importance in ashram, and everything is so I would say, I'm not finding a good word for it, but everything is so well managed and
structured,
put into structured,
like
or I don't know what to say,
planned,
but it's
like
they plan, yeah, definitely they plan, but I mean to say, everything is very meaningful over there. Whatever you're doing, it's nothing is meaningless, or there's no importance to it. Every little thing is so important over there that you can't miss it. And people used to miss the whole point of the thing while we were in Sadhanapada, and so that's why those people couldn't stick around for the whole period of the program. So in the interview, they make sure, if you are someone who can won't be able to give the commitment, so the commitment is something they checked in the interview, and the other things, that how you can conduct yourself, and how you will be really able to and most importantly, how much you are willing to give in this program. So the willingness is the whole the most important part of the whole volunteering system, I would say. So yeah, so they ask you that, and they ask about the other responsibilities in the families if you are not there, and what will happen with the family, and who will take care about the debt, or about any like money issues or the job issues. They actually consider everything. So as per how your condition is, like if the commitment will be proper, and the candidate will be able to stay throughout the program, and also how much dedicated and willing he is. So combinedly they choose, I think. And again, one most important part was also about asking our parents. I mean, the other part of the interview was that they wanted to talk with my parents about taking the permission, if they are willing to send me for Sadhanapada. And I was like, this was the part I was like, oh no, I don't know, because my mom knew, and she was like, she was very much willing to send me, and she was fine with it, and she was supportive. But my dad was like, no, you're not going there, because it's too far of a place, and I don't know what it is, and you can't go into some ashram like that, and whatever history of India has been. So not much of a good history regarding ashrams or babas or something like that. So for my dad, it was like that. So to convince him, it was something else. It was another thing. But so I told him that they are going to call, and this is something I badly want. I really want, and I explained him everything, how badly I want to go there. And he was like, He did not yes, no, I'll talk to them, nothing. He just like, I'll see. This is what he told, and I was really scared. And I was really scared. That I remember, shivering literally, that when they called my dad, and I mean when they called my parents, and I mean they were supposed to call my parents, and I was really shivering, like I don't know. I'm just praying that my dad should just say that we don't have a problem, you take care. But something happened, and my dad couldn't take the phone. I mean, maybe if he was busy, or he was doing something, and my mom picked it up. Okay, so my mom was like, I mean, the akka that was talking, for the confirmation, she asked if you have a problem, if your daughter is coming for Sadhanapada, do you also give the permission for her or something? So my mom is, yeah, completely. We just love it. I also do inner engineering and everything. I've also done. And you can take her, we don't have a problem, nothing is there, and everything. And that lady was like, okay, yeah. So she asked few questions to my mom also, and my mom just she gave all the answers. And my mom asked if she wants to talk to my dad also. So that lady, the akka said that no need. It's fine if you are telling that if she is willing. So because obviously they knew, if my mom is saying yes, then definitely everyone in the house must have been agreed to it. So yeah, so they approved that also, and after that the process was for the medical checkup, and not the medical checkup as said, but the medical examination, and I had to provide them all the details about my medicals and if I have some problem. But luckily I did not have any other issues, any medical issues. So that went well. And after that, I think that's it. And before this interview also, or after this interview, there was some form that they had sent, Google form, and that they had asked in detail, in depth. The questions were really good. Okay, so in that they had asked if you can, you will be able to manage in a system where you will be in one room with 8 people or 4 people, and the bunker bed system will be there, the food will be this, it will be vegetarian diet, and everything. They had mentioned every little detail, and they had asked if you will be able to do it, and if yes, how will you do it, and why are you willing to do it. So they asked everything in that detailed form. So I had filled it up, and after that this process was done. And suddenly I was just praying that I want to get selected. I used to pray to God like every time. I was like, this is the only thing I want. I just want to get selected in sadhana, but I don't know anything. I just want to do this, because for me it was like I want to do it at this period of time when I am not getting into any job, because I was waiting. I even got 2-3 job opportunities in December. Like this interview was in November, but in December and in the first week of Jan, I got an inquiry for a job, but I was like, no, I cannot join because I have to go for a year, and right now I cannot give any commitment, because the jobs were more of a contract based and you have to do the contract for a year, and I'm like, no, I can't give that commitment. So somewhere I was like, I'll go. Anyway, I'll go. So on 9th of January, after that, like 2022 or 23. So 9th January, I was just traveling in the bus, and I suddenly got a mail in my mailbox saying your application has been selected for Sadhanapada. And I started crying in the bus like anything. When I saw that mail, I was like, oh my God, this is something I wanted so badly, and this has happened. I couldn't believe that I got selected for Sadhanapada. I'm just crying in the bus, and I'm just too overwhelmed. And I'm just thinking, what will I do, what is this and that, everything. And before getting the selection process, I had also applied for Linga Seva in the next month, like in 1st of Feb, I had applied for that I'll be going for Linga Seva. And I was anyway going, but before I got that mail of selection, before I could go in ashram for the first time, I was very overjoyed, and I told my dad after coming home, I got selected and I'm going, I was jumping, and my dad is like, okay. He did not even ask God, because he was mad at me, like, why are you going, why are you going so far away from me? And he's like, he doesn't want to know about it. He was like, I don't want to know, you are not going, kind of a thing. But he did not want to, restrict me as well. But somehow he says, and then I got to know that he's not very happy that I'm going. After that, I told mom, and she was happy about it like usual. And then after that, I was selected, and after that I went for my first time in this volunteering. My first volunteering I went in the Feb. I went there in ashram, and I went there with my mom and dad. And as usual, like, it was very nice. I was totally overwhelmed, because throughout the time I used to see all the videos of ashram and everything, and I went there for the first time. I'm just looking at all the things. Everything was magical. Few of the things that I was looking at, I was just crying. I don't know, like, because I used to manifest it somehow that one day I'll go in ashram, I'll see this, I'll see that, because everything I had just seen online. So I did my Linga Seva, and again it was something else. For the first 4 or 5 days, I was like, oh no, nothing is happening. Everyone is, having some or the other experience. They're having good fun, or, they are really enjoying. But for me, after the 4 or 5 days, went in the Linga Seva, things started happening. Like things started happening in the sense I started realizing a few things, and the Linga Seva is one of my most favorite volunteering still date. Like that is the best thing you can do, and I always suggest people to go for Linga Seva if they are going for volunteering. Like I haven't done Devi Seva yet. I mean, I will be doing it someday. But for me, till now, Linga Seva is the best. So I did that, and I also met, while I did the Linga Seva, I also met the Sadhanapada team after going there, that, I have come. And they just had a word with me, and I was supposed to then come in June or July in the start. Yeah, that's all.
You are a great example that you don't have to have volunteer experience before going to Sadhanapada. You didn't even had the inner engineering program done, and still they gave you the chance. So I think those people who are scared to apply, or those people who are worried about the interview process and everything, I think you are a great example to show that you don't have to be scared. You just need to be committed, and you need to have that mindset of I'm going no matter what. And like you said, even if you wouldn't have been accepted, you would have still gone for the Linga Seva. So you had such a straight focus toward what you want, that the universe, or whatever you want to call it, just had to yield and gave you the opportunity to go. Because sometimes I have people who say, I didn't get accepted, I tried, and then they ask me why. And I tell them there are so many reasons as to why the team decided not to allow you to come to the program. And I always say that you should not feel like it's a step back. It's actually just another opportunity to look at, okay, is this really what I want? And if it is really what I want, then let me make the step and go there as a long-term volunteer, for example, for 1 month, for 3 months, anything, and experience that and see if this is really something that I truly want. Because just because you didn't get in after 1 or 2 applications doesn't mean that you cannot stay there for a longer period of time.
Right. And even in the Sadhanapada while I was doing, I met many people who were around me, like they used to say that, this is the 3rd time that I had applied and I got selected. For the last 2 times I was not getting selected, or this is my 4th time, this is my 5th time. There were so many people who were literally trying it every year and they used to not get it, and this time they got it. And I used to feel so grateful about myself that this was the first time I just applied and I got selected. For me, I used to every time I used to, people whenever they used to tell me that I got selected after so many rejections or something, I used to feel it for myself that I'm absolutely lucky that I got selected. But I used to feel that I'm very grateful that I got selected. I would say that I got selected also because of the situations that I was in. Like there was not much of a responsibility, and that's why I could give that commitment totally from myself. And they also saw that dedication in me or commitment that I was willing to give in that interview maybe. So yeah, and they also, like how I told you, that they see all the responsibilities that you have, and if you will make it throughout all the months. So everything like that came into place for me, I would say. And one more thing was that my dad, like I said, he was like really not ready for me to say, like for me to do something like that and go away from him. His only concern was that I'm going away from him, that's it. So otherwise he has always been very much of, I would say supportive in any decision. Like I just take my own decisions, I let them know that is what, and because of that I have this confidence of taking my own decisions throughout the life. So even going for Sadhanapada, I could just take that decision, and then I told them, and they knew, my dad knew that I'm doing, if I'm doing it, I'm doing something good only. Like this, he knows that if she is doing it, then she must have thought through it, and she knows what she is doing. But somewhere she was just mad at me that you are going far away. But after after some time, after the Sadhanapada journey began, and he saw that the difference in me also when I came here in between. Once I came for when I was not well, when I came, that time he saw the difference in me. Then he saw, whenever I used to talk with him on the call, he used to literally call me 4 times a day. half of the people, like they used to, I mean, many people used to tell me that you're so much on your phone, because it's not allowed. I mean, phone is allowed in Sadhanapada definitely, but not much of a phone, because everything, I agree to it, that you are into your zone if you are using the phone, and you have to be in the ashram kind of atmosphere, and it's very important. So for me, I used to get all the calls I used to get from my dad. He used to be like, okay, after getting up, I have to call him. Then after the dinner, lunch, I have to call him. After the dinner, I have to call, and before sleeping, I have to call. Like every time, in the first 2 months, I used to call him like that, and give him all the details that I'm alive, everything is going well, and I'm there. So and then he used to be like, okay, happy. And after that, if only I miss one call also, like in the day, if I don't call him or something like that, he used to be like, why didn't she call? He used to tell my mom that why is she not calling, what must have happened and all of that, because I'm the only child, and he is like very much possessive, I would say, about me, and he cares a lot. So after that, after 3-4 months, he got used to it, and my my calls started getting reduced. And then after that, I used to just call him twice a day, like in the morning after I wake up and before I sleep. So somehow he also learned to be a little far away from me, and then he saw things changing, and then I saw him transforming, that he used to tell proudly to everyone in his colleagues or his family and everything that my daughter, she is doing that and she is gone there, because people around him started asking him that is Riya has gone there, she is doing really well, Sadhguru is nice, and everything they used to tell my dad. And then he started noticing, okay, whatever she is doing, she must be doing good. And then he realized, and then at the end, towards the end, he was really happy and he was really proud about whatever I was doing.
That's beautiful. I'm so glad to hear that your dad went through such a transformation, and it's very encouraging also for people who have, I think a lot of people can probably relate to this, that one of the parents will be not so happy or they want them to stay. So your story is really inspirational. Since you spent 7 months at the ashram and you went through Sadhanapada, there's one question that comes up. I mean, the schedule during Sadhanapada, you wake up early in the morning, you do yoga, Kriya yoga, Hatha yoga, you go to the temple and all these things. So it's not just yoga as a practice, but it's a whole lifestyle. You only have 2 meals a day, and like you said, you don't use a lot of your phone or social media. You try to reduce the amount of speaking that you do, gossiping comes down, all these things. And sometimes there's this feeling that we have that, okay, now I'm doing yoga, so that's all I have to do. If I just continue practicing yoga for the rest of my life, everything will be fixed. But something that I've experienced in my life is that sometimes the physical practice of yoga is not enough. There are other things that we also have to take care of, such as diet, such as our mindset, such as emotional maturity. And this is something that I want to talk to you about, because you have a background of psychology, and I'm sure that you have some insights into this as well. So, yeah.
Yes, definitely. Like, I would start by saying that, I feel that, it's very difficult for me to convince this to people and make people understand how psychology and spirituality is, quite of same, and then they merge together very well if you know what it is. Like, if you know what is spirituality and if you know what is psychology as well, and what they do for us, that they merge so well if you want to practice the conscious lifestyle, or if you want to know what is the consciousness and everything about it. So, but it's been really hard for me to convince people. I mean, even if they are my client, and even if they are some spiritual people, the blend that I know, I find it really difficult for me to convince people. But I would also say that, this has been a journey for me, that I'm trying to explain or articulate things that I understand. So it's just the start, I would say, that I'm doing it. So with time, I would really let people also experience and know what I'm saying or what I'm talking about when I say that spirituality and psychology do have a common ground. So for me, obviously, like, I agree with every statement that Sadhguru says, that everything is about how he always says that it's not very much, we are very much into the psychological drama that we understand as life. So definitely that this is something, that the drama that we create, but not everyone understands what he says and everything. So people are like, oh, psychology is something opposite to spirituality or something like that. But no, I understand spirituality as the way of living and the way of whatever we are doing and what we are supposed to do as human beings. And also psychologically, if you know to be conscious about what you are doing, what you are acting and everything. But so before Sadhanapada, or even during Sadhanapada, till December, I would say, or before, till Samyama, I would say, I used to feel that, this psychology and everything is whatever. I'm not much convinced with psychology, but maybe I'm more convinced towards spirituality, that it's the only thing. And psychology, I'm doing it as my profession, but somehow I only believe, like, this is what I used to think before, till December. And I was like, I used to agree with all the points that Guru used to say, that, you are into your psychological drama and everything, which is true. And after January, after talking to few of my friends and getting some of the realizations or some other here and there, I realized that, people, even who are in spirituality, people who are into spirituality, they have not understood that whatever they are doing as spirituality, as a way of living, they are just doing it because they will get something out of it. Okay, something they'll get out of it, that they will be better, or they will be this or that, and anything. Maybe they at times also use this as
Escaping?
yes. Thank you for that word. Yeah, so they many times they use it as a escaping route, that whatever traumas they have or whatever problems they have in their mind, they find it that, okay, I'm doing spirituality, I'm doing my sadhanas, and that current, they just want to escape the current situations of their lives and do it, which is true for many sense. But at the same time, if you know what it is, like, if you know, because I met people in Sadhanapada itself that who had, they really need to work on their traumas or their behavioral things, which are very much of a situational base. Whatever has happened throughout their life, that is the reason they are like this. Okay, so in psychology, how psychology works is that you have to examine every little detail that has happened to a person throughout his journey and why the person has become this personality. Okay, so if, for example, some traumas you are been triggered, or because of few major events in your life, you got these traumas or something, you will have this kind of personality. Okay, I mean, maybe some low confidence or something like that. And spirituality won't fix the behavior. Whatever behavior wise, whatever you are doing, it won't fix the behavior. Spirituality is something outside. It's not about the body, it's not about the mind. It is about something else that is very, like, another dimension, like Sadhguru says. Spirituality is that. And if you say that it will, like, even Sadhguru said it in so many of his talks, that the spirituality won't change the behavior of a person. So if someone's behavior is bothering you, like people always say that, even in ashram, this kind of people are staying in ashram. Even this kind of people are doing spirituality. They don't know how to behave. Yes, because behavior is not changed. It's not related to spirituality. I mean, I used to see many people, and they used to comment that, there are many people around who are not very much fit into spirituality because of their behavior, which is true. There used to be many, I would say, people who are in ashram since many years, and 5-6 years, and they are there in the ashram, and they think they know everything. And like you said last time, they have spiritual ego of their own, that they know spirituality and they think that they know everything. So for them, they lack the understanding that behavior is not the consequence of spirituality, and how you behave, or the personality. That personality is always built from where you're growing, your environment, the parents, the kind of system, the situations that you as a human or as a social being, whatever you witnessed, that is what makes your personality. And spirituality is about dissolving that personality.
That's very, very good, because I feel like some people who are listening right now, they might misunderstand what you're saying.
Yeah,
That
definitely. It's
spirituality
very
and
thin line.
behavior is
And
not it's not that it's not related. If you work upon your energy system through Kriya Yoga, then your body and your mind will align
exactly.
with time.
Yes,
But if you continue to do the same pattern with your body and your mind, then it doesn't matter how much energy work you do, you cannot
exactly.
change the other two dimensions with force, right? It has to happen through life experiences. So I think you're not saying that if you're doing yoga and Kriya Yoga and all these things, that your behavior can change. It can change, but for
It
many
can
people,
change.
it does not
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, for many, the people who don't understand the differentiation, like, they don't understand what is spirituality and what is, way of living, or what is psychology. If they don't understand the basic difference, then it is very much of, difficult for them to differentiate in both.
I can relate a lot to this, because it's like I had this experience that spirituality only is happening as far as it is convenient for you. And it might be convenient for you to wake up at 3 a.m. and do all your practices and be full of energy and eat very pranic food. But when it comes to your family, like that was how I felt. Oh, these people are not spiritual. Oh, these people are eating meat. Or these people are doing this. And I was so judgmental about all the people in my world, that I realized whatever I'm doing that I call yoga is not actually making me feel unity, which is the core of yoga. It's making me feel more separate. I feel more separate than I felt before, because I'm so identified with this is how I have to be and this is how it is. So I can really relate to what you're saying, and it took me a lot of time to see that behavior is something that I have to work upon. And not just behavior, but what you were saying, the origin, like the events in my life that happened in my childhood experiences. Because sometimes Sadhguru also said trauma, that's just an excuse that people have. And I would say, yes, what he's saying is true, but as long as you have that trauma and you're not actually processing it, then it's going to continue to affect you.
Exactly. So I would also give example of, there are my friends who are, like, if I would say just for example, there is one friend who is into trauma, but she won't do anything about it, because, she doesn't want to change that behavior, but instead maybe she will blame the situation, that this was what has happened, and she will continue doing it rather than changing it. So this won't take it anywhere. Okay, and then, like you said, it will be more of a spiritual thing, that okay, even spirituality won't help, like that they would say. So even like the same example that you said, Sadhguru talked about it after one of the Samyama program, that after Samyama you think that you are, very much, everything, now you are a spiritual yogi, you think after Samyama. People think that, but if you think that I'm superior than someone else, or I know more than someone else, that means you're differentiating yourself, and it's not helping you to unite, or with the union that you need to be the part of it. So yeah, like exactly what you said. So it's most of the time it's very much misunderstood, like you said. It's very difficult to make this thin line, to explain this thin line to people, like how this is important and this is not important. Because definitely, if you look at life as existential process, which it is, the reality is, of course, the existential process. And if you look at life into existential reality, then psychological drama doesn't matter. Like whatever you're doing, whatever you're eating, whatever people you're meeting, how does it matter if it is existential, right? We are just human beings doing our own thing, and how other animals are also existing without any issues. So, but when it comes to, if we want to look at our life, whatever we are doing and how it is affecting other people throughout the journey, or if it is affecting your deeds or whatever you are doing in daily life, then we should also consider the behavior that we are, producing in this world. If you are saying that we want to be conscious about our lives, then we should be also conscious about how we make other people feel, how we make the difference in the world by being, or giving that empathy in the world. So as psychologist, I would say that, my work is more of also, my work is more of building that bridge, about spirituality and psychology, and telling people that this is about conscious life. These two things are not different. You have to look it and absorb it in a way that, this is how you need to live your life, not on just one extreme point of spirituality or just one extreme point of societal, social and psychological norms.
Yes, yeah. I think if you, for most people, at least what I've seen at the ashram and also for myself, if you focus yourself too much on the spiritual aspect, you get very serious and you lose that playfulness, you lose that relax, just being able to go out in the world and to have a tea without thinking about all the consequences and all the things that are going to happen and this and that, because essentially we are working with beliefs and we have so many beliefs that are not true.
Likes and dislikes, as Sadhguru says.
True. Yeah, and that's the thing, because people watch some Sadhguru videos and Sadhguru says something, and then if you watch another video, he says something completely different. So just by one thing that he said, you cannot base your whole life upon one thing that he said. So I think that's really important to look at the whole picture and to look at your own experience.
Like before, while I was doing my practicing, into Sadhanapada, whenever I was there till December or before Samyama, I used to really question myself about this whole psychology background that I had. And I had this discussion with my coordinator, and he explained it so well to me, because he is into psychology and everything. Because I was in Isha Vidya teaching in the school for this mental health and everything. So my coordinator, I explained, he is from the school. So he explained me so well the difference and the bridge between, because I was very confused at that point. I was like, okay, if I'm saying that I'm very spiritual, I'm this and that, but I'm also practicing psychology as a subject or as a life or whatever. So in that, psychology is, if you listen to Sadhguru, it's more of a psychological drama that we create, which has no existential background, right? Then I used to find it very difficult to cope it up with my own life, and what should I do and what should I not do, and this was the biggest challenge. But after talking to the coordinator, he explained me so well that I understood it for myself. But after that, like I said, I met few people, and after discussing it with them, knowing about their life and how the behavior, and even though they are into spirituality, how their behavior is not helping, and how their behavior is affecting others, or the whole even the behavior is affecting them, but they are not understanding. They are feeling that this, I'm spiritual, I'm doing my spirituality, I'm good in life. But that's not how it works. So
what did that person say to you in Isha Vidya?
Okay, yeah. So the same thing that we talked about, that how spirituality and psychology is one, and somehow even if you decline psychology, like if spiritual people, there used to be people in Sadhanapada, my friends, they used to say, you're that psychology girl, the one that Guru talks, that that psychology is not relevant, or not, he doesn't say psychology is not relevant, but he says that psychology is psychological drama, and you just don't have to, like, if you look at the existential process, it's not very important. This is what he says at times, that you have to mind, and I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, which is true. I'm not the mind, I'm not the body, but at the same time, knowing what he is actually saying, people miss the point of what he is saying, I feel. So people used to say that, used to call me that, you the psychology practice and only psychiatrist and all of that. So something different, and this is not spirituality. So yeah, so my coordinator explained me how both of the things matter, because as psychologists we know that your neurological system and your neurons and how they function within you, the chemical system, it makes a lot of difference no matter what. Even if you are doing spiritual processes, okay, today I'm doing all the spiritual processes, but if I'm not eating properly, if I'm not sleeping on time, or if I'm not following whatever, the system of my chemical reactions or the system of my neurons, if I'm not paying attention to them medically, then things won't happen for me, even spiritual. So he explained it to me so well that how neurons and neurological systems really work. It helped me to understand, that this is not just psychological drama. It's more than that. And if you, want to balance, so this is more important, that everything is about balance. So if you want to conduct anyway, we are not someone who will be going into mountains and doing yoga, right? Like we are not that kind of yogis who will just sit on mountains and give up on our lives and do everything. Like right now, if we want to, we cannot right now. So that needs some other kind of commitment. The yogis who give up everything and they give that commitment throughout just for the yoga, for them the societal or the psychological drama does not exist, because for them they are totally given themselves, they have given it to yoga or spirituality, I would say. But for us who still have the role of being into the society, we still have to think about what we as human are contributing to the world. So spirituality and psychology or any other thing that you are doing, I would say that we just need to make that balance. And for me, balance is something I learned from Sadhanapada. So because as they promise that balance and intensity and clarity is what you get from Sadhanapada, and I really got it. I got my balance, I got my clarity as to what I need to do, and I got the intensity from that. I got to know what is psychology and how is spirituality aligning with it for myself. Like it was the biggest realization for me during Sadhanapada. And my journey forward is more about sharing this with people and how spirituality is the core of everything. Definitely, if you look at existential reality, spirituality is the only thing, I would say. And Sanatan, I would say, like how it is the core of everything, of how the way of living, I would say. But at the same time, as a psychologist, my work is also about how I could help people into behavioral aspects of it and how it can create a more better world for people. And yeah, for me, I would say in Sadhanapada gave me this balance of balancing this spirituality and psychology for me, like how they promise, balance, intensity and clarity. So clarity and balance is something I got completely, and intensity as well to whatever I'm doing. And balance not just about psychology and spirituality, but throughout the whole journey of life, I would say. And also clarity about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and clarity about the existential reality a little bit, I would say. So for me, Sadhanapada is that balance.
Yeah, I think one thing that Sadhguru said about this is like Western psychology has concluded that suffering is part of life, and it's like, psychology, definitely nobody's saying that this science is perfect, but I love what you're saying, that if you combine the two, that you're really getting a good, feeling of it, because Sadhguru also is talking to big psychologists, and you can see that within the conversation that there are a lot of overlaps, and that he agrees to a lot of things that these people say. And I think that there's one thing that I've also recently come across, is that we, when we are on the spiritual path, tend to say no to pain and suffering and say yes only to joy and bliss. And we make that distinction of saying no to one experience and saying yes to the other one, and we actually develop a certain attachment to, I always want to be joyful, I only want to experience bliss. And whenever we feel the opposite, suffering, pain, it's not an opposite, we just made that an opposite. Then we judge it and we say this is not good and this is good. But actually we have to understand that suffering and joy go hand in hand. You have to experience the darkness in order to see light. You have to experience the suffering in order to appreciate and know what it is to feel joy. So I think that the suffering, the destruction that's happening in the world shows that we as a human species, we have not transcended those emotions. It's still part of our experience, and we should also be able to embrace it just in the same way as we embrace the joy. We can embrace the pain, and if we do that, we can move through it much more smoother than if we're resisting it, like what we were talking before, and thinking, oh, if I do all my practices, then I'll be fine. If I do all my practices, I'll be joyful, I'll be focused, I'll be this and that. But we are at the same time still saying this is better and this is not good. And I think it's not a holistic way of living life. I mean, if you want to embrace Devi, you have to embrace both sides, because she can be very fierce and destructive, and she can be very motherly and giving life. So yeah, that's how it's just something that I recently understood better.
And one more thing I would like to add, that this, of course, psychology is more of a Western theory, or Western idea of looking at things. And Indian people before that never really knew that, because all they knew was about spirituality, and that is how they practiced their life, and it worked for them, and it does work, and that is something works more efficiently, I would say. But the reason why I'm saying this, that even today, even in psychology, the extreme, the final or the extreme level of treatment is always related to meditation and all kind of mindfulness practices. So where is it coming from? Of course, yoga. So obviously the Western ideologies or Western theories, they are still taking the support of the whole yogic system, the yogic meditations and everything. If you look at all the treatment base that we give as psychologists, everything is related to meditation, this and that. Other than the medications, the tablets or the treatment, if it is clinical treatment, other than that, everything is always, it will summarize to the mindfulness and how meditation works and how your mind works and how you need to calm it down and everything. And I'm like, okay, so the Indians already knew it from so many years, and they just, the name of psychology, they are branding it into the therapy and everything, like that. But it's still yoga.
Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you for this beautiful conversation and for sharing everything that you have shared. I'm sure there will be a lot of people who will like it. The last videos also, a lot of people were very happy to hear your story and connecting to you. So looking forward to see more people hear this.
Yes, I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful day. And
yes, you too.
Yeah. Bye.
Namaskaram. Yes, bye.